Very good morning, students. In the previous session, we have seen the determination of pH by using Quinn hydron electrode. And also we have seen the basic introduction of the batteries. Today I'm going to explain you the batteries, types of batteries. In types of batteries, today I'm going to explain you the primary batteries and the secondary batteries. In primary batteries, we have only one topic, that is Leclanche cell. Whereas in the secondary battery, we have two topics. One is a lithium ion battery and another one is a lead acid battery. But today I'm going to explain you the primary battery, that is a Leclanche cell, and only one of the secondary battery, that is the lead acid battery. What is mean by the battery? What is the use of battery? But before going to see the battery, we heard about the electrochemical cell. What is electrochemical cell? Electrochemical cell is nothing but the cell which converts chemical energy to electrical energy. For example, the galvanic cell, whatever the batteries we are using, whatever the cells we are using, those are electrochemical cell. What electrochemical cell is doing, the chemical energy is converts to electrical energy. Yes, battery also one of the electrochemical cell, but here how the batteries are preparing by combining various number of electrochemical cells. Yeah, around more than 2 electrochemical cells are arranging in the order to form a battery, to make a battery. That is mean by the battery. Same like electrochemical cell, even batteries also converts chemical energy to electrical energy. That means we are getting electricity from the chemical energy. That means from the chemical reactions. Battery is one of the storage device. What it is storing? It is storing the chemical energy. Initially, it is storing the chemical energy. This chemical energy is converts to electrical energy. That means while using whatever the stored energy is there, that stored chemical energy is converts to electrical energy in the batteries. So now let us see the definition of batteries. A battery is a storage device which is used for the storage of chemical energy and for the transformation of chemical energy into electrical energy. So what is a battery? Battery is one of the storage device. What it is storing? It is storing the chemical energy, and this chemical energy is transforming into electrical energy. Battery consists of group of 2 or more electric cells connected together electrically in series. I said now various number of electrochemical cells, more than 2 electrochemical cells are arranging in the series electrically to form a battery. Battery is acting as a portable source of electrical energy. That we know that we can move from one place to another place, we can use anywhere. It is one of the portable device. And batteries are classifying into 3 types based on their conversion, based on their ability. Batteries are of 3 types. One is called the primary batteries, secondary batteries, and fuel cells. Primary batteries are also called as non-rechargeable batteries. Secondary batteries are also called as a rechargeable batteries, and fuel cells are also called as the flow batteries. Yes, you know what is mean by the non-rechargeable and the rechargeable batteries. Nowadays, we people are depending on the batteries. For example, mobile phone. We know that without mobile phone, we can't even go outside. But whether it is the rechargeable or the non-rechargeable, what about the lifespan of the mobile phones? Mobile phones are having the rechargeable batteries, that is the secondary battery. I said now secondary batteries are also called as the non-rechargeable batteries, which are having the non-rechargeable batteries, that is the secondary batteries. So we can recharge the secondary batteries. So the secondary batteries are also called as the rechargeable batteries. What about the primary battery? I said now primary battery is also called as the non-rechargeable. That means we can't recharge the primary batteries. For example, our wrist watch batteries. and remote control batteries. And toys, many toys are having the batteries and torchlight batteries. Yes, here all these batteries are the non-rechargeable batteries. What is the difference between non-rechargeable and the rechargeable batteries? In non-rechargeable batteries, the lifetime of the battery is less. Whatever the chemical energy is storing, that chemical energy can convert to electrical energy, but electrical energy is not come back. That means it is not converts to the chemical energy in the primary batteries. But what about in the secondary batteries? We call secondary batteries as the rechargeable batteries. That means here, whatever the chemical energy stored, that will be converts to the electrical energy. After battery becomes dead, that means after complete chemical energy conversion to electrical energy, the battery will be dead. After that, again the electrical energy converts to chemical energy by applying electricity. Yes, so that means by putting the plug inside, again the energy will be stored in the batteries. Yes, that is a reverse reaction. That is the electrical energy to chemical energy. That is called the rechargeable batteries. About the fuel cells, we will discuss in the next classes. But maybe now you are clear about the rechargeable and the non-rechargeable batteries. What about the non-rechargeable? It is called the primary batteries. The lifespan of the primary batteries are less because in this, there is no recharging. Whereas in the rechargeable batteries, chemical energy converts to electrical energy and also electrical energy converts to chemical energy by applying direct current. So here the lifespan of the battery is more for the secondary batteries due to recharging and the discharging. Primary batteries, again just let us see the definition of primary batteries. Primary cells or primary batteries are those cells in which chemical reaction occurs only once and the cell becomes dead after some time. After some time, what is happening? When the complete conversion of chemical energy to electrical energy takes place, the battery will be dead. Sometime, and it cannot be used again. So we can't use such type of batteries. We have to throw it in the dustbin only. We have to throw it in the garbage only. We can't use such type of batteries again. These batteries are used as source of direct current power. That means we can use such type of batteries as a DC power only. For example, dry cell and mercury cell and lithium cell. These are the examples of the primary battery. We have only dry cell in our syllabus. We don't have the mercury cell and the primary lithium battery. So primary lithium battery is there, secondary lithium battery also there. So just for distinguishing the primary lithium and the secondary lithium battery, primary lithium batteries are simply calling as a lithium battery, whereas the secondary lithium batteries are called as a lithium ion battery. So where you heard about lithium ion battery, the batteries which we are using in the mobile phones are the lithium ion batteries. Yes, so whatever the lithium batteries we are using in the mobile phone, those are the secondary lithium batteries. So we have primary lithium batteries as well as the secondary lithium batteries. But in our syllabus, we have only the dry cell or the Leclanche cell. So now let us see about the dry cell. But before that, just let us see what are the requirements of the primary cell. What are the basic requirements of the primary cell, primary batteries, non-rechargeable batteries? It should satisfy these requirements. So what are the requirements? It must be convenient to use. Yes, it must be very convenient to use. Cost of discharge should be low. So because the lifespan is very, very less, so we can't invest much for the primary batteries. So the cost of discharge should be less and standby power is desirable. It must be desirable. Yes, so these are the basic requirements for the primary batteries. So now let us see the dry cell or the Leclanche cell. I'll explain you later in the middle of the topic why we are calling Leclanche cell as a dry cell. It consists of a cylindrical zinc container. Leclanche cell is one of the primary battery. You know what is meant by the primary battery. In this, only the forward reaction is possible. That means chemical energy is converts to electrical energy, and electrical is not converts to chemical energy because there is no recharging in the primary batteries. It consists of a cylindrical zinc container. So externally we are having one container. That container is a zinc container that acts as the anode. So just for understanding, maybe you have seen the mobile phone, not mobile phone, the remote control batteries, the NEPO cells are the small cells are there. It is the Leclanche cell. Leclanche cell diagram is similar to that. So how the remote control batteries are there? The externally we are having one container. Yes, that container is the zinc container. And when you open that battery, after that you can open that. When you open that battery, inside you will be having a black color rod inside. Whatever external one is there, whatever the external container is there, that container is a zinc container. And inside the black rod will be there. That black rod is the graphite rod. So here it consists of a cylindrical zinc container that acts as the anode. The external container is a zinc container that will be acting as the anode. And a graphite rod. What is a graphite rod here? The inside we are having a black color rod. That black color rod is the graphite rod. Yes. So here that graphite rod is acting as a cathode. The space between. So the space between anode and the cathode. The space between anode and cathode is packed with the paste of ammonium chloride and the zinc chloride. Yes, whatever the space is there in between anode and the cathode, in between that we are placing the electrolyte. That electrolyte is in the form of paste. It is not in the form of liquid. Generally, we are using the electrolyte either in the form of liquid or in the form of semi-solid. Yes, semi-solid is nothing but the molten state. Yes, either in the molten state or in the liquid state. So in this, we are using paste form. Paste form is nothing but the molten state electrolyte we are using in the dry cell. So in between anode and the cathode, we are having electrolyte which is in the paste form, that is ammonium chloride and the zinc chloride. And the graphite rod is surrounded by manganese dioxide powder and carbon as shown in the figure. I will show the figure now. But here inside we are having the graphite rod. Now that graphite rod is coating with surrounding with the powdered manganese dioxide and the carbon. Why we are using the manganese dioxide and the carbon here? Because the carbon reactivity is very, very less. That means graphite. Whatever the graphite rod is that, I said that is acting as the cathode. We know that the cathode must be participating in the reduction reaction. But I said now, graphite is nothing but it is one of the form of carbon. That we know that. Graphite is one of the form of carbon. That means what is the formula of graphite? Graphite formula also carbon. So carbon should participate at the cathode in the reduction reaction. But carbon is having less reactivity. Its reactivity is very, very less. If reactivity is less, is it participating in the reaction? It will not participate in the reaction. So to increase the reactivity, we are using one of the powder which is having more reactivity. So here we are using MnO2 powder which is coated on the graphite rod to increase the reactivity. So MnO2 is increasing the reactivity. But again, MnO2 is mixing with the carbon because MnO2 is having the less conductivity. Conductivity is less. So to increase the conductivity, again we are adding the carbon. Yes. So MnO2 is using to increase the reactivity. Carbon is using to increase the conductivity. The cell is called dry cell because of the absence of any liquid phase. So do we have anode or cathode or electrolyte is in the form of liquid? No. Yes, so nothing is in the liquid medium or liquid state. So it is also called as the dry cell. The cell is called dry cell because the absence of any liquid phase. Even the electrolyte consists of ammonium chloride, zinc chloride, and MnO2, to which starch is added to make a thick paste which prevent leakage. Yes, we are using starch to prevent the leakage. So even starch also is in the form of paste. So that is not in the liquid medium. So it is called the dry cell. The graphite rod is fitted with a metal cap and the cylinder is sealed at the top with a pitcher. So the entire container, the entire cylinder is closing with a cap. Yes, it is sealing with a cap. That is about the dry cell diagram. Diagram. See here, this is the dry cell diagram. Externally, we are having one. It is similar to our remote control batteries. Yes, the externally we are having the zinc container. In between the zinc container, we are placing one graphite rod, which is in the black color. And the space between anode and the cathode is filling with the electrolyte, which is in the form of paste, that is ammonium chloride and the zinc chloride. And it is called the separator. See here, we are placing the separator between anode and the cathode to avoid the short circuit. Anode and cathode should not directly contact with each other. So always in every battery, anode and cathode are separating with a separator. And now here the graphite rod is coating with the carbon and the manganese dioxide mixture. This is called the carbon rod. And this is the seal. This is negative terminal and this is the positive terminal. Yes. So this is about the diagram of the zinc carbon battery. So this is the cell notation. How to write the cell notation? Zn plus 2, ammonium plus MnO2, carbon. Yes. So how we are representing? There is no salt bridge here. So we are not representing the salt bridge here. This is anode and this is cathode. Yes. Cathode is coating with the MnO2. And the left side we are having anode, which is contacting with Zn plus. This is about the cell notation. And one more, which can release the EMF of 1.5 voltage. How much amount of electricity it can produce? It can produce around 1.5 voltage of electricity. So now let us see the reactions at anode and the cathode. Which is acting as anode? Zinc. And which is acting as a cathode? Graphite. But what is the formula of graphite? Graphite formula is carbon. So zinc should undergo oxidation at anode. Carbon should undergo reduction at cathode. So zinc is obviously participating at anode, but carbon is not participating at cathode. I said now carbon is having less reactivity. If reactivity is less, it will not participate in the reaction. Because of that reason only, the graphite rod is surrounded by the manganese dioxide paste. This manganese dioxide will increase the reactivity and which will participate in the reaction. Manganese dioxide only will participate in the reaction. So carbon will not participate in the reaction at cathode. So now let us see the reactions. At anode, oxidation; at cathode, reduction. What is oxidation? Oxidation is nothing but loss of electrons or the removal of electrons. If electrons are losing, electrons will be present in the product. If electrons are gaining, electrons will be in the reactant. So zinc is losing 2 electrons to produce Zn plus 2. And these 2 electrons will transfer to the cathode. At cathode, these 2 electrons are gained by the manganese dioxide. So this manganese dioxide is gaining the 2 electrons in the presence of moisture. What is the moisture here? Water. So MnO2 is gaining the 2 electrons in the presence of water to produce Mn2O3. remaining one oxygen, this oxygen. That means total 2 oxygens, 2 hydrogens with 2 electrons producing 2 OH minus. So this is oxidation and reduction. So how to write the overall reaction? Overall reaction is nothing but addition of anodic reaction and the cathodic reaction. So let us add these two reactions. By adding these two reactions, we can add the reactants and the products. When you add the reactants and the product, left side 2 electrons, right side 2 electrons will cancel with each other. So Zn plus 2MnO2 plus H2O giving rise to Zn plus 2 plus Mn2O3 plus 2OH minus. This is the reaction. This is the overall reaction in the zinc carbon battery or the dry cell. But here, one of the product, what is one of the product here? OH minus is one of the product which is reacting with ammonium chloride to produce ammonia. But where is this ammonium chloride? This ammonium chloride is present in the battery. Here all these reactions will take place inside the battery only. So one of the product again reacting with electrolyte to produce ammonia, which is not liberated as gas but immediately combined with a Zn plus 2. If whatever Zn ammonia is releasing here, that ammonia is reacting with Zn plus 2 and Cl minus to form one of the complex compound. This is the complex compound is forming in the battery. How this complex compound is forming? Because of reaction of OH minus with ammonium chloride. So initially what is happening here? This OH minus is reacting with ammonium chloride to produce ammonia. But this ammonia immediately reacting with our Zn plus 2 and Cl minus, this Zn plus 2 and Cl minus to produce one of the complex compound. This complex compound is the main cause of rust inside the battery. Yes, because of this product inside the battery, the corrosion, that means the rust is forming inside the battery. So it is decreasing the lifespan of the battery. So these are the reactions for, I said now initially OH minus reacting with the ammonium chloride to produce ammonia, NH3, and remaining H plus OH minus are producing as the water and Cl minus. Now again this Cl minus NH3 are reacting with Zn plus 2 to produce bis amino zinc dichloride. This product is forming. So now let us see what are the advantages and the disadvantages of the zinc carbon battery or the dry cell. The main advantages are these cells have voltage running from 1.25 voltage to 1.50 voltage. So we can produce by using zinc carbon battery around 1.25 voltage to 1.50 voltage. And primary cells are used in the torches, radios, transistors, hearing aids, pacemakers, and watches. So these are the basic applications of the zinc carbon battery. And also price is very less. But disadvantages, these cells does not have a long life. We know that many primary batteries are not having the lifespan more, but even zinc carbon battery is having less lifespan because the acidic ammonium chloride corrodes the container even when the cell is not in use. Yes, even if we are not using continuously also, the rust is forming inside the battery. That is the drawback or disadvantage of zinc carbon battery. This is about the primary battery or the zinc carbon battery. So now let us see the secondary battery. Secondary battery also very, very important here. Secondary batteries are also called as the rechargeable batteries and also called as the accumulator batteries. What is mean by the rechargeable? In which discharging and recharging both takes place. What is discharging? In discharging, the stored chemical energy converts to electrical energy. But what about in recharging? In recharging, the electrical energy can convert to the chemical energy. Yes, that is discharging and recharging. These cells can be recharged by passing an electric current through them, and that can be used again and again. How can we use again and again? By recharging by using direct current. For example, a lead acid battery, nickel cadmium battery, lithium ion battery. So these are the best examples of the secondary battery, but the first and the third are part of our syllabus. The second one is not part of our syllabus. Secondary cells are widely used in cars, trains, motors, electric clocks, power stations, laboratories, emergency lights, telephone exchange, digital cameras, laptops, and etc. Yes, here all these are the best applications or the advantages of the secondary batteries. And these are the reversible cells. What is mean by the reversible? Reversible is nothing but forward and backward both are taking place. They behave as galvanic cell while discharging and as electrolytic cell while recharging. I explained in the second or third class about the types of cells. Cells are of two types. One is electrolytic cell and another one is a galvanic cell. What is happening in electrolytic cell? Electrical energy converts to chemical energy. What about in galvanic cell? Chemical energy converts to electrical energy. But we know in rechargeable batteries, in forward reaction, chemical energy converts to electrical energy. That means galvanic cell. In backward reaction, electrical energy converts to chemical energy. That means electrolytic cell. So it is acting as both electrochemical as well as the electrolytic cell. To improve the performance of battery for commercial purpose, the anodes and cathodes with very small separation to conserve space are used. So here the anodes and cathodes with very small separation to conserve space are used, and current discharge should be high at low temperature. It should have less variation in voltage during discharge, and it should have high energy efficiency. The energy efficiency should be high. It should be reliable. It should have tolerance to shock, temperature. It should have number of charging and discharging cycles before failure of batteries. These are the basic requirements of the secondary battery. So now let us see the lead acid batteries. Lead acid battery is also called as the acid storage battery. I'll explain you later at the end of the lead acid battery. I'll explain you why we are calling lead acid battery as the acid storage battery. In a lead acid battery, if a number of cells are connected in series, the arrangement is called a battery. I explain now what is meant by the battery. If the various number of cells are arranging in the order or series, that is called the battery. The lead acid battery, lead storage battery is one of the most common battery that is used in the automobiles. So especially we are using lead acid battery in the automobiles. A 12 voltage lead storage battery is generally used, which consists of 6 cells, each providing 2 voltage. So how many cells we are using? We are using around 6 cells, and each cell is releasing around 2 voltage of power. So totally we are getting 12 voltage of power from the lead acid battery because we are using 6 number of cells. Each cell consists of a lead anode and a grid of lead packed with lead oxide as the cathode. That means here in this cell, we know that cell is nothing but anode and cathode. Anode is lead and cathode is a lead oxide. These electrodes are arranging alternatively. That means lead, lead oxide, lead, lead oxide, lead, lead oxide. Like that, we are using around 6 number of lead, 6 number of lead oxides. When one lead oxide is there, that is nothing but one cell. And these are separated by a thin wooden piece and separated and suspended in dilute sulfuric acid. So initially anode and cathode are separated with the help of wood, and this is immersing. That means placing in the electrolyte. What is electrolyte here? Dilute sulfuric acid. Dilute sulfuric acid is acting as electrolyte, and hence it is called as a lead acid battery. Because in this we are using acid as the electrolyte, so we are calling this battery as a lead acid battery. So now maybe we are clear that which is acting as anode, which is acting as a cathode. Yes. Lead is acting as anode, lead oxide is acting as a cathode, electrolyte is sulfuric acid, and which is releasing 2 voltage of EMF when we use one number of cell. This is about in the discharging process. Whatever I'm explaining now, that is in the discharging process, not in the recharging, in the discharging. In recharging, the reaction will be reverse, and anode will be converts to cathode, and cathode is converts to anode. In discharging, which is acting as anode, lead is acting as anode, lead oxide is acting as a cathode. But whereas in the recharging, that is reverse, lead oxide is anode, lead will be acting as the cathode. To increase the current output of each cell, the cathode and the anode plates are joined together, keeping them in alternate position. The cells are connected parallel to each other. The cell is representing as lead sulfate, sulfuric acid, lead sulfate, lead. This is a cell notation. This is a cell notation of the lead acid battery. In the process of discharging, when battery produces current, the reactions at the electrodes are as follows. So now let us see the reactions at anode and the cathode. But before that, which is acting as anode? Lead oxide cathode. At anode, which reaction taking place? Oxidation. At cathode, reduction reaction taking place. So initially, lead is giving Pb plus 2 by losing 2 electrons. These Pb plus 2 ions are immediately reacting with our electrolyte. What is our electrolyte? Sulfuric acid is electrolyte. This sulfuric acid is having sulfate ions. So this Pb plus 2 immediately reacting with sulfate ions to produce lead sulfate. So here how many reactions are taking place at anode? 2 reactions are taking place. So by adding these 2 reactions, we will get the single reaction. That single reaction is taking place at anode. So let us add these 2 reactions. So Pb plus 2 will get cancelled with each other. So now add the reactants Pb plus SO4 minus 2 giving rise to PbSO4 plus 2 electrons. This is the reaction at anode. No need to write these 2 reactions at the end. So only this single reaction taking place at anode. So now let us see the reaction at cathode. At cathode, the PbO2 is gaining the 2 electrons. Whatever the 2 electrons are releasing at anode, those 2 electrons are gained by the cathode in the presence of electrolyte to produce PbSO4 and 2H2O. Now this is the reaction taking place at cathode. Now let us add the 2 reactions. What are the 2 reactions here? These are the 2 reactions. Let us add these 2 reactions. This is the reaction at anode and this is the reaction at cathode. By adding these 2 reactions, 2 electrons will cancel with each other. Now let us add the reactants Pb plus PbO2 plus 2SO4 minus 2 plus 4H plus. By adding 2SO4 minus 2 and 4H plus, we will get 2 moles of sulfuric acid, not 4 moles, 2 moles of sulfuric acid, giving rise to 2 PbSO4 plus 2H2. This is the overall reaction. What is happening in the recharging? In recharging, reverse reaction. That means products are converts to reactants. Reactants are converts to products. So here in the forward reaction, sulfuric acid is using to get the electricity. But whereas in the backward reaction, what is the backward reaction? In the recharging process. In the backward reaction, again sulfuric acid is restoring in the battery. Again sulfuric acid is releasing in the battery. So it is called acid storage battery. Yes, because it is storing the battery. It is storing the acid in the recharging process. So lead acid battery is called acid storage battery. So during discharging, the battery sulfuric acid is consumed, and as a result, the density of sulfuric acid is falls in discharging process. When it falls below 1.20 grams per cubic centimeter, the battery needs recharging. So when it is needs recharging process, when it decreases, When it decreases around 1.20 grams per cubic centimeter, it needs recharging process. In recharging process, in discharging process, the cell acts as the voltaic cell where oxidation of lead occurs. But during recharging process, the cell is operated like a electrolytic cell. I said now that in forward reaction galvanic cell, in the backward reaction electrolytic cell. What is the backward reaction? Recharging only. So in recharging process, it is acting as electrolytic cell. That is, electrical energy is supplied to it from an external source. So we are putting plug. That means we are giving external source. The electrode reaction are the reverse. That means the reactions will be reverse. So that occur during discharge. So this is the battery diagram. Anode, cathode like that. In between that, we are having the separator. So this is complete the construction. So this is anode plates and these are the cathode plates. In between that, we are having the separator. So this is in the reverse process, that is in the recharging process. So now let us see what are the advantages. I said now these are using in the automobiles, not only in the automobiles. Let us see where we are using, what are the remaining applications of the lead acid battery. Lead acid batteries are used for supplying current to railways, mines, laboratories, hospitals, automobiles, power stations, telephone exchange, gas engine ignition, UPS. Other advantages are its rechargeability, portability, and its relatively constant potential and the low cost. Yes, these are the various applications of the lead acid battery. But disadvantages are use of concentrated sulfuric acid is dangerous and use of lead acid battery is fragile. So we can't use more concentrated sulfuric acid in the lead acid battery. That is more and more dangerous to the lead acid battery. So this is about the zinc carbon battery, electrolytic cell and the lead acid battery. In the next session, I will complete the unit. In the next class, I'm going to explain you lithium ion battery and the fuel cells. With this, I'm going to conclude today's session. Thank you so much.